You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business. My name is Kelly Bolton. Thank you so much for joining us today as we discuss something of tremendous importance and worth, and that's a solid education. As I sit on this set, I'm surrounded by countless students behind the scenes who are directing and making this show possible. And this is all part of their educational program offered at Germantown High School in their unique offerings. Like this, such a difference in young adults' lives these programs can make. So I'm honored today to bring a spotlight to another incredible educational program in Memphis that is changing lives daily. With me today is Donna Macri and Nina Diaz, who serve as a board of trustees on Concord Academy. So please join me as I welcome Donna and Nina to Let's Talk Business. Donna and Nina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
I appreciate y'all being here. It's really neat to think we're sitting on a set that's being run by all students, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really a nice thing. Well, can one of you share with me who is Concord Academy?
Sure, yeah. So Concord Academy is a private school. It was actually founded in 1983, I believe, and it's just for students with IEPs, which are individual educational plans or programs. So these students have special needs in some kind of way, and this school caters to just those students. The staff are all special education certified. It's a very unique school that focuses on kind of teaching what they call the whole child.
Well, how did you get involved in Concord, Nina?
I first learned about Concord from a fellow coworker whose student is also at Concord about 2 years ago. And my youngest child is on the autism spectrum. And so we had already been thinking about additional options for him, ways that he could maybe learn better, because for these students in particular, they struggle with not just learning academically, but also dealing with a lot of social pressures, sometimes that are incredibly painful for them, and they lose sight of their academics for having to learn some of the social requirements of a regular school.
Interesting. And what about you, Donna? How did you get involved in Concord?
So this same colleague had invited me to Community Awareness Day, which is a wonderful event and an opportunity for people that are not familiar with Concord, and even those that may be familiar, to kind of walk through the school. So several years ago I was invited to such an event, and honestly I was just blown away. I mean, the amount of passion that the staff has for these children and the mutual adoration that they both share. It was humbling and inspiring, and you walked around the classroom just to get an idea of the setting and the teachers. Some of them gave testimonials. Some of them have had students themselves, children of their own, come through the school. And again, the passion for what they're able to do, the curriculum they're able to provide, the love for these children, and vice versa, was just so inspiring. I mean, several times just tears came to my eyes. And it's just an incredibly special organization.
Well, that's neat, because obviously, everyone talks about our future is dependent on our children. And if you can take children that have some of these special needs or special educational needs and put them in an environment with educators that are familiar with that, surrounded by students that have some of the same struggles, you give them such a great opportunity to have success down the road. And from what I've understood with Concord, you have a tremendous number of your students who actually are not just fulfilling their 6th through 12th grade requirement, they're doing things past that. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
That's correct. And in fact, we're proud to say, over 91% of our students receive a regular diploma. And that's one thing too of importance to note, that Concord offers a dual path, regular program, regular diploma, as well as a special education.
So what is dual path? I'm not familiar with that.
So most students will go through it and get their high school diploma like any other school that you're aware of, but they do have an alternative diploma that allows these students they can still go to programs at like University of Memphis. They offer a program called Tiger Live. But there's several schools that offer alternate things for them, so that they may not be able to educationally get to the high school diploma level. The state testing that's required to get their diploma. But nonetheless, they're active members of society. They, can learn in other ways. They just can't pass the standardized testing required. So they have an alternate diploma that allows them to go on to vocational school or even University of Memphis schools or other schools of their choice that offer alternate degree plans as well.
Oh, that's fabulous. So you don't have to have a traditional high school diploma
Correct.
to go on to, say, University of Memphis.
Right.
Correct.
And so they prepare them for that as well.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yes.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one of you, could you, and maybe, Nina, you're the one, that could do this. I was thinking about walking me through the day of a typical student, and
Yeah.
I guess your son is sixth grade?
He's in sixth
So
grade.
he just started, because
He
y'all start
started
at
this
6.
year.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is the typical day of your son then?
So he goes through, really the classes themselves are fairly typical. I mean, he's got all the normal classes that any other student would have at a public school. But they're structured differently. They offer a magnitude of different ways to educate the students. There's not as much curriculum that's kind of around some of the fluff or some of the other activities that they may participate in. They really focus on the core things and helping them learn the way each student needs to learn. And what's also really different about their classes is, rather than assign them classes based on what you would think of as a normal public school curriculum, so you have, sixth grade math, and then you have sixth grade English, and they actually group these students by their learning abilities. So you may have a 6th, 7th, and 8th grader all in the same class, but they're learning at the same level at that time. So it can be a little bit unique, but these students in every class that they go to, they learn more in a manner that's conducive to how they need to learn. So they're given a little more time by taking out some of the extras and helping them focus on what they really need to know. So it's, for every student, it actually can be a little bit different, but they still participate in art and music, and right now they're making a quilt, and they do some amazing things.
Social activities,
lots
dances,
of social activities, clubs. They get, afforded a lot of the same opportunities. It's just kind of arranged in a way that helps each student learn a little better.
And if I can inject, what's important to note, we like to say that Concord cares. We have an acronym, CARE, meaning Concord Academy redefines education, and to Nina's points, that's why we feel that's a cornerstone of Concord, as well as every student is a success story, and that's incredibly important to the school.
That's wonderful.
They really focus on what they have to offer and how you magnify that. What does this child have that's so special, or that's something that they excel at, and they really bring that out of them and give them a lot of self-confidence that they don't normally have. It's beautiful.
And a
to
6-to-1 ratio certainly helps.
That was about to come out of my mouth. What is your student-to-teacher ratio
Yes,
to
6
make
to
that
1.
Happy to report
happen?
6 to 1.
Yes.
Well, and I think that sounds like that's really key to your program, is being able to have that one-on-one where you can customize the educational experience for each student.
Absolutely.
And get to know each student.
And again, the bonus of these teachers are special education certified, so they truly understand, how to find that uniqueness and how to pull it out of these kids. They really have a knack for it and a love for it, and it shows.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a break, and we're going to continue our discussion. So if our viewers will stick around, we're going to continue our discussion with Donna Macri and Nina Diaz with Concord Academy and learn more about the amazing work being done there in the lives of young adults.
This place, it's extremely unique.
You are pushed to do things that you didn't know you could do because someone else saw it in you.
If you're with us for your whole 4 years here at GHS, you get a great foundation of amazing classes.
Try the priest.
The approach we take to whether it's the fall play or the spring musical is that the students are truly the ones that are making the magic happen.
Tell all the people.
You put the work in off and on stage. Not only are you on stage acting and playing a part, you're working, you're pricking your fingers, sewing the costumes. You're learning how to make exotic makeup designs. You're learning how to build the set that you're going to be planted on.
And as you grow with us within the program, your skills continue to develop, and we build off your previous knowledge. And hopefully by the time you graduate, you're a well-rounded professional in a way, and you can move into any area that you'd like after high school and succeed.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Business. If you're just tuning in, I'm Kelly Bolton, and today we have Donna Macri and Nina Diaz, who are Board of Trustee members with Concord Academy, as our guest. Today we've been discussing Concord's mission and the tremendous impact it's making on its students' lives. So thank y'all. I know we've got a lot to cover, and I wanted to come back and talk a little bit about Concord and other schools. I'm assuming there's a lot of schools in the area doing the exact same thing?
No, actually. And so one of the challenges I had with my child in particular was finding somewhere that he fit in. Surprisingly, I did searches for over a year and really couldn't find anything. In fact, I wouldn't have known about Concord, even through my searching, had it not been for a colleague of mine. There's no other school like it in a 200-mile radius, so it's incredibly difficult to find something that really fits this unique spot where these students are perfectly able to get a high school diploma. But in the public sector, they get a little lost. And you know, as I mentioned, it becomes a little challenging as they have to deal with social issues in addition to, you know, their curriculum. So they're actually quite unique. I'm grateful for them because the only other alternative that we could see was figuring out how to homeschool him.
And then when you try to combine the social, emotional, and educational issues all into a curriculum that works, it's got to be difficult. And so I know that, you know, that comes with a cost, and I'm sure for many families the cost to get a 6-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio has got to be very expensive. So there's got to be a need for community support. How do you get funding? I mean, obviously you ask for families to pay as they can, but beyond that, where are you getting the money to support a program like this?
Yeah, so outside of the tuition, which we do pay, it's heavily funded by businesses in the community, so they do get support from Shelby County Schools. It's not enough, but it's, you know, they get some equipment. They got iPads, I think, just this year, and last year they had some. But they have additional needs, like they need laptops right now that they're not able to get. They need updated software to keep up with, updated equipment to keep up with the software that they're running. So they put on 3 main fundraisers every year. There's an auction that's actually coming up March 22nd. They have a golf tournament that's typically around September every year, and they have what they call the Chili 5K and 1 mile run.
Chili and running.
Chili and running.
I'm not sure that which needs to come first. I would assume the running
first,
and the chili.
Chili later. Yeah, but it's really cute, and all of the students are there, and so it's a unique opportunity for them to come out and interact with everybody, and they get community service hours towards, they actually have community service as part of their curriculum. Every student has to have, depending on what grade level they're in, a certain number of hours of community service, so this counts as part of that. And so they get funding from those, and then they're part of obviously Amazon Smile, the Kroger Rewards, and they have a program called Support a Student, where you can actually go sponsor a student, hopefully for, you know, somebody who really can't afford the tuition.
And so is there any true state funding where you're filing for grants and you're getting grants, or is it just an iPad or 2 here and there?
The organization does file for grants.
Yeah. And do you find that you're getting, I mean, what do you know, and you may not know this, what percentage of your funding is coming from grants and from outside sources?
A very small percentage.
Very small. That's what I feared. So, I mean, because there's such a need. I mean, as you said, children, I guess you support children from ADHD to autism to anxiety disorders and that sort of thing. And unfortunately, we do have this as a big issue in the community, and I think we're becoming better at recognizing that there's a need. And it's such a shame that it's within a 200-mile radius, this is really the only one that is doing this. So how many students do you have right now?
61.
Is there 61?
I think there's 61.
61 students. And I'm assuming you're at capacity, then probably based on funding. I guess with additional funding, you probably could expand, but I'm sure that without funding, it's difficult to grow.
Yeah, interestingly, right now we actually need another teacher, but we really can't do that without getting more students. It's always a
balance.
A
And
balance
to get the
back
students,
and forth.
that gives you the money.
Yes.
But some students may not be able to afford,
Correct.
which means you've got to have the funding. So it's
Correct.
it's a double-edged sword.
We are
yes.
always asking, for donations, for anything, for any help. Concord's always asking.
Right, and honestly, compared with other private institutions, I would say the tuition is very, competitively, based. However, it's still, with it being a private school, and any, tuition is most often burdensome to families. So we, completely recognize that. But, to your point, sponsorships from businesses, donors. The different programs that Nina mentioned are incredibly important, our fundraising events. In addition to, I wanted to also mention that any offers for people to get involved in a non-monetary way is welcome. That's, coming to the classroom, helping tutoring, just getting involved. I mean, these kids are incredible, just very, very special. It's a supreme blessing to be involved in whatever capacity.
And how long has Concord been around?
Since 1983.
So you've got quite a few graduates out there then.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And they actually follow them pretty closely. It's really nice to see a lot of the alumni of Concord will actually come back and help and come back and participate in the fundraising events, volunteering, helping in the office. So it's really incredible to see. And again, it goes back to the passion of the teachers and staff there. They care and they follow up and they reach out, and they're always, letting even the students that are there know, here's what these people are doing who were in your seat not that long ago.
Oh, how fabulous.
Yeah.
How fabulous. And do you offer before school care and after school care, or is it, 8 to 3?
They do. They have, before school is a little more difficult. There's a little bit of an early drop-off time, and they actually do a senior coffee. Is it every other Friday or? I can't remember. My student's not a senior, but they do a coffee with the seniors. And then they do have after-school programs. Some are even free to the students, and some are paid. My child's in a yoga and a STEM class that are after school, and they have a homework room after school as well that's a paid for. That's if you can't pick your child up as early as they get out. So,
that's nice.
They have great programs.
Well, we're going to break again. So when we return, we will finish up this informative and enlightening discussion. So please stick around.
Every day is different, Every day is a new piece of music. It's a large program. We have 3 full choral ensembles, a women's chorus, chorale, which is about 55 students, and our chamber choir, which is about 18.
There have been lots of opportunities to audition, which have encouraged me to be more confident with myself and really put myself out there.
I really enjoyed my time being in choir, especially here at Germantown, because I feel like there's something special about this particular school.
I like them to walk into my room and feel as though they are free to experiment with sounds.
How beautiful can you make German? That's the challenge.
We always say that we're a school of excellence, and I feel that that really shows in performances, because we're all so focused in trying to reach our goals.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit GHSKappa.com or call 755-7775. watching the award-winning GHS-TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Thank you for joining us on Let's Talk Business. If you're just tuning in, I am Kelly Bolton, and today we've been joined by Donna Macri and Nina Diaz, Board of Trustees at Concord Academy. And we've been discussing the amazing programs that Concord offers and the success of its students. So this is our last segment, unfortunately, and I've got a lot of questions I'd like to ask you. We were just talking, you said you've got about 60 students. You definitely would like to hire another teacher, which means obviously a few more students. And I was just saying during the break, I'm surprised that people are not beating the doors down, but I guess it's because lack of awareness that you exist. Right. Where are you located?
Located off of Walnut Grove.
Okay.
In Mendenhall.
Right.
Okay. So in a good central location for probably most people coming kind of central to the city. And if people wanted to get information about this, how would they find out about it? Is there a website? Would they call?
Yes, so Concord actually pulls from Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee because it's it's really the only school around, as we discussed. But they do have a website. It's concord-academy.org.
Okay.
Part of what's difficult is there is another Concord Academy that's a vocational school, and so even when you're searching, as I did, you dismiss that as not being this school. So we've actually just started this year a marketing program. One of the new parents is leading the initiative because her profession is actually in marketing. So hopefully we'll start getting the word out there to more students, to people all the way, DeSoto County and over in Arkansas and all around Tennessee. There's certainly more students out there who could benefit.
Well, exactly. When I first met Donna, I mentioned to her I was confused with Concord, the technical school, and this Concord, and did not realize there was a difference.
Correct.
So I know that sometimes marketing and name recognition is half of the battle.
Yes.
And we talked about tuition. It's probably at or even maybe slightly below what a typical private school would run, but then there are scholarship opportunities or funding opportunities, so people don't need to be sticker shocked and think, I can't afford it. It sounds like they need to reach out and at least explore it if this is something that they have an interest in.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So, which is a really important thing. And would you say that there are some children that Concord would not be appropriate for?
Absolutely.
Where would that be at different ends of the spectrum?
So if they're much lower functioning, there's other schools that are actually available to them, but Concord wouldn't be a great fit. These students really fit a very special criteria where they have to have an IEP. It is a requirement that they already have an individual education plan. And it's really just that they learn in some other way, that they need additional help, either behaviorally or academically. And they need to be of a functioning level. I know that they do an IQ test and behavioral psychosomatic tests, things like that, prior to them going in, but they handle all of that when they're doing the onboarding process.
It sounds like a student that could have reasonable expectations to achieve some type of high school or high school equivalency type degree.
Yes.
Would be. One thing you told me, and we did not cover it, was life skills. I mean, it's one thing you learn what's in a book and how to add 1 + 1 and how to read, but life skills, how to do a load of laundry, how to balance a checkbook.
Yes, exactly. How to make a bed.
How to make a bed, yes. That is every parent would like that, yes.
I would like to send my other children through there.
I think you could have a whole school just for life skills.
Yes.
But tell me about the life skills program.
Okay, so they actually have several different things that they do. One of the things that they have is called the PAYS Lab. They also have a learning kitchen, and
they teach them to cook.
They do.
Oh, wow. I think every parent out there is like, what's the phone number?
Let's write the laundry. They teach them about measuring. Part of that goes into their math. But they also teach them things. They have books of a wide array of different professions. And the PAYS Lab actually kind of helps them learn and get a little bit of a hands-on experience on how to do these to see if their aptitude is even fit for it. So they can try, I wish I knew the number, hundreds, I'm sure, of different jobs, kind of try them out prior to going into it to see if they even have an interest, if it's something that they really like. It's incredible.
Well, that's neat. And then talking about jobs, the students that are seniors, and I'm assuming there's 10 or so seniors each year, is that right?
It just fluctuates.
Okay.
Yeah, it can vary.
Approximately how many would you say you have right now in kind of your senior?
I should know that number. I would say a dozen, right?
I was
Somewhere
going to
around
say,
there.
based on the student to teacher ratio and the number of students, something around that. And then those students do get an opportunity to job shadow or do internships?
They do, and we're incredibly thankful to businesses that allow that to happen. But you've just got a veterinary clinic that's allowing it, and
We have furniture.
the Great American Home Store allows job shadowing. Yes.
Hotel
and
service.
Which one?
Hotels.
Oh, wow, that's fabulous.
Oh, that's right. There's a hotel. And then they do mock interviews. And really get the students prepared for the workforce.
Because again, one of the cornerstones is, and I think you've mentioned this, it's not just what they learn in a book. It's these life learning skills. It's being as self-sufficient as possible.
Right.
Really.
Which is wonderful. I mean, you know, I think whether it's a school like Concord or any other school, I personally feel like some of those are skills that our students from all schools are lacking today.
Sure.
I mean, they can use a cell phone, but can they do an interview? Can they look at somebody in the eye and ask them a question without, you know, texting? And can they solve a problem that doesn't involve them Googling it? You know, can they figure it out on their own? And I do think that life skills are important. Well, I know we have just about a minute left. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers before we wrap up?
Yes, I would like to also emphasize that as I'm remembering, just walking, you know, through the halls and knowing what a life-changing event this has been, you know, for my nephew, aka her son. What's important to note is the camaraderie that these students have for one another, you know, which is so different than any other environment that I've seen. I mean, just the respect and the love that they share. I mean, they all know that they're special, and that's okay, and they support each other.
Isn't that
That they
wonderful?
establish,
Well, I am so glad to have y'all on the show today.
you.
You know,
It's
our
been a
show is
pleasure. Yes.
about
Thank you.
Memphis, the Memphis community, and when you find an organization like this that's making a difference in the lives of young people that are going to in turn then be a thriving, wonderful part of our community, it's such a great thing. And I hope our viewers will get behind you and embrace it and offer internships, support, volunteer to be tutors, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
So I thank y'all very much for coming.
Thank
I wish
you.
we had a lot
greatly
more
appreciate
time.
it.
Yeah, same. Thank you.
I want to thank all of our viewers for watching us today, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. To get more information about our show, you can check us out on the web at GHS-TV.org, where we're streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Please join us again next month on Let's Talk Business as we continue to explore the thriving Memphis business community and the civic community. Thank you.